So welcome to MC4's third training session. This one is titled Effectively Using LinkedIn in Your Job Search and in Networking. The session will last about 1 hour. The topics that we're going to cover will be your profile, searching for companies and people, using LinkedIn to search for jobs, as well as one of the most valuable pieces of LinkedIn, which is around using LinkedIn to create a network that will allow you to network into companies. So you've got different levels of connections, first level, second, and third level, and I'll explain those as we go through the program. So when you think about a profile, I want to point out a couple things to you on the LinkedIn screen, that homepage that you arrive at when you first open up LinkedIn. And you can see updates on, in this area around some of your contacts and status updates for them. One of the parts of this homepage that can be important is this section right here that allows you to look at or get some information on who might have looked at your profile. Now, if you have a paid subscription to LinkedIn, it will actually tell you if it will work. There it goes, okay. I'm in a hotel, and about this time every night they kill my internet connection until I re-register. But if you click on that link that I just clicked on that tells you how many people viewed your profile, you will see a screen that will tell you either who the actual individual was, or it might just tell you that it was somebody from an industry or from a company. And again, I have a paid subscription to LinkedIn, and that may be the reason why we can see these. So the part of this that is also interesting is if you look in this area here, it tells you the keywords that were used to find you. In other words, keywords that were put into LinkedIn search that caused your profile to come up and for someone to view it. Now, later on you're going to hear me talk about your profile in keywords. So if I were thinking about what I do for a living, all of what you see here would be keywords that I would want to appear in my profile. And in fact, other than I don't have an MBA, all of these words that I've just highlighted all appear to one extent or another in my profile. Now, the reason that that's important is that you want to make sure within your profile that the keywords for the type of role that you're looking for, that those words are in your profile. It will make it easier for a recruiter or someone else to find your profile and then hopefully look at it. Okay? So the next step that we want to do, and let me just unmute everybody, or if you have a question, just remember to click on the hand that should be somewhere on your screen, and I'll unmute your microphone, and you can ask your question and everyone will hear it. So let's go now to view your profile, and I'm going to use mine as, again, as an example. And one of the things that, again, you'll notice is that this is all relatively boilerplate kinds of information. What my job is, where I work, the current job, what some of the past roles that I've had have been, where I went to school, recommendations, how many connections, and then I have a couple of different websites, and someone wanted to go visit them, they could click on this and it would take them to the website. And this, I think, is all easily understood, and it's fairly intuitive. Here is where it begins to get more challenging. So one of the things that you'll notice is my summary. The summary contains many of those keywords that you saw people used when they searched for someone with my background and my experience. The summary is only about 6 sentences long. So it's very short, but if you read it, you'll see that what the summary is attempting to do is, in 6 sentences or 6 lines, give someone a sense of how I could contribute to the success of their organization relative to strategic sourcing strategy, supply chain, and developing a supply base to support their business. So it doesn't have to be very long, but you want it to actually be compact, but at the same time to contain as much information that would cause someone to want to continue reading. If you look here where I've got specialties, you can see that all of these are specific to what it is I do, or what it is I would be looking for in terms of a role. Working in the U.S., Europe, Asia, global sourcing, strategies, mentoring, coaching, and training, organizations, and then some other specialties that you would find some or all of these in a job description that might fit my background. So again, this is to do 2 things. One, to get someone who is looking at your profile interested to continue reading, and the second is to make it easy for someone to search on LinkedIn and find you among the multiple millions of people who are part of the LinkedIn network. So if we continue to scroll down, now we begin to get to where it is a little more challenging when you're coming out of the military, because you've gotten them to look at that top block. They've now looked at your summary and what your specific skills or specialties are. They want to keep reading, but now they're looking for something that has a little more meat to it in terms of demonstrating how you could make a contribution based on what you've done in the past. The reason that under the Bogan this role is that I've been consulting now for a couple of years. I've been consulting with Bogan for about 4 months. They finally made an offer to me that made sense, and actually today was my last day as a consultant, and tomorrow I officially join Bogan as a regular employee, having to pay taxes to the state of New Jersey, even though I live in New Hampshire, so that's a little bothersome to me. I do have something here around the work that we're doing within MC4. And if we scroll down some more, now you'll begin to see something that a prospective employer or someone else can look at. For confidentiality reasons, I can't get specific about what I've done at the companies that I've done consulting with. So here I've simply described some of the work that was done, the benefit that they may have gotten from that, the types of companies that I've consulted with, and where they're located. So Massachusetts, Alabama, and then in New Jersey, where I had started with Bogan. But as we scroll down to my work when I was the director of global sourcing at Brooks Automation, now you begin to see a little more quantitative information. Quantitative means you can measure it. One of the challenges with the military resumes that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of them, is that they're written in a qualitative way. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, if I ask you what the temperature is outside and you tell me it's warm, that's qualitative. It can mean different things to different people. If you tell me it's 70 degrees, that's universally understood. So what you want to try and do is have a mixture of qualitative and quantitative pieces of information. So here you can see there's a thing that says contributions to profitability. I reduced material costs by 1.2 million. Organizational development and design, that I created these commodity councils as well as skills assessment tools and those kinds of things. Under strategy, it talks about what I was able to accomplish in terms of strategy. Around the supply base, you can see where it talks about improving the supply base performance via these qualifications. Now, I will tell you what I don't like about this part of my profile. There's not a whole lot of quantitative information in there, and it's something that I have been intending to improve upon, and you know, I just never really got to it. So there could have been much more quantitative information in this part of my profile. When you look at the one from Teradyne, again, there's not a lot of quantitative stuff. It's more focused around strategy and some other things that I did. And if I were to criticize this, it needs more quantitative. If you go to, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, my BoxNet files, you can download my resume and you'll see that it's loaded with quantitative information. Now, this are the last two companies that I've listed, Siemens and Chiron, but they're not the only companies that I worked for. Generally, you don't need to go all the way back to your first job, but you want to give them enough information that they can get a measure of who you are and what your background and your experience is. As you move on down to education, that's relatively straightforward. Recommendations are always or can be helpful, and you know, there are some here. Some of them I solicited, some of them people just decided that they would write a recommendation for me. There's some additional information that you can put in here, and again, I've put, you know, information about my military work, organizations that I might belong to. You can see the LinkedIn groups that I belong to, and what I might have for interest. If you scroll down almost to the bottom, you can see that there's something called BoxNet, and you can add BoxNet to your LinkedIn profile, and here there's a resume, There's an article that I've written on supplier relationship management that's been published. If somebody wanted to engage with me as a speaker at one of their events, they could download what's called my one sheet, which is a profile of me as a speaker. And then here's another article that I've written. So you can use your BoxNet capability to post your resume, your actual resume embedded in your profile. Now, a couple of rules about that. You want to use and convert it to a PDF file. And most of the time now you're using Word, you're able to save it as a PDF file. The reason that you want to do that is that unless somebody is sophisticated, it's very difficult to take apart a PDF file unless you have the software that will let you do that. The other thing is, all you want to have on your public resume that you would post is your name, your email address, and your cell phone. You don't want to put your address or anything else, just more or less so that some nitwit or somebody can't decide to go look to see where you live. I think most of these are all sanitized with just my basic contact information. So let me unmute the microphones for a second and just see if anybody has any questions before we go on. Any questions so far?
Hey Bob, Tony Kaufman talking to you.
Hi.
Question I just got out, retired from the military. Now, for the profile that you went through on yours, should I keep my profile in military jargon, or should I try and convert it to the civilian terms?
No, you want to convert it. You want to begin converting it so that it can be understood by a civilian.
Okay.
I meant to look at, Tony, what branch were you in?
Air Force.
Okay, I actually meant to look it up, but when I gave a speech at Fort McPherson, I looked up how many acronyms there are for the Army, and believe it or not, there's 240 acronyms official and like 400 unofficial. And I've seen resumes from the Army guys, and I think they used all 300 of the official ones. It's not easily understood by an HR person who may be the one screening it, or someone else that just doesn't, maybe they've not been in the military and they don't understand. But the other thing is, you don't want them to have to interpret what it is you could do for them. You want to try and make it as clear and as easy for them to be able to immediately understand where you might bring value, okay? And the easiest way to do that is to convert it so that it reads as it would in civilian language. Now, if you're interested in defense contractors or working for the government, keeping it in a military format may be to your advantage depending upon, the company or the position. But for a civilian company that's not involved in government contracting or any of that stuff, it will be much easier if you convert it to civilians. And a lot of the coaches can help with that. And I've got some examples of different resumes that, I can send you if you want as an example if I've got one. What are you looking to do?
Well, I was at the University of Illinois as the commander there for ROTC, and I'm trying to go back to the university as somewhere in the academic professional side.
Okay. So you're lucky. We happen to have 3 people as coaches, all of whom have senior roles in 3 universities. Jane Hudak is one of them. She's the dean of a private university in Pennsylvania. I think Mary Teresa Tagliabue is in human resources at another university in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, actually Mary Teresa connected with me not too long ago.
Okay, and she has been very, very helpful to give, I think, good coaching and guidance to folks who are looking to get into working in some of the university roles. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Bob.
All right, anything else? Tony, you got your hand up again. Oh, Tony Robinson.
Yeah. Question. After we do a little work on our profiles, can you provide a critique for us?
Sure. You were in the Marines, right, Tony?
Simplify.
I love critiquing the resumes of Marines.
I'm ready to let you just have at it.
Because I know it must irritate you guys to ask an Air Force guy for help.
This is killing me.
I know. You'll get used to it. Yeah, when you're ready, just let me know. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to mute everybody again and then go to the next piece of this. Remember, you can always raise your hand and I will come back to you. So there's several things that you can do relative to trying to find people that you can network with. And many times what you're looking for is someone in your network who either works at a company that you're interested in or they themselves may be connected to someone who works in that company. So if we just, for a minute, let's say, for example, that you were interested in working at American Express. So up here, under this search area here, change that tab to companies and then type in American Express, click OK, and what you see here is that under American Express Financial Services, there's 168 people that are in my network. Now, that doesn't mean I'm connected directly to them, but it means that they are connected to someone who is either a first-level connection for me, which means we're connected directly, or they're connected to someone that I'm connected to. And you can click on the 168 people, and we can see who they are. And I can then, if I look, say I wanted to get into account development, which is like a sales and marketing thing, I can click on who is the common connection that Catherine and I have, and it's Bev Allen. And Bev Allen, for me, would be a very good connection because Bev worked for me at one time. And we've maintained, personal contact since then. Erica Dunham works for a company called Metasys, and I actually am a columnist on a quarterly newsletter that Metasys puts out that Erica publishes, so she would be another good contact. Now, you will scroll down far enough and you'll go through enough of these that eventually you're going to find someone that is a second level connection. And I'm looking for one now. Now, what that means is that you are not connected directly to that person, but you are connected to someone who is connected to them. And what you need to do in that case is reach out to the person that you are connected to and ask them if they will introduce you to that individual. And I'm really just blown away by this, because so far all of these people are directly connected to me. Under relationships over here, you can do what I just did, which was I filtered out all the first level. I don't have any first level connections. All I have are second level connections through someone else. So in here, you can filter based on work location, if you only want to see people in the U.S. If you're interested in working in the Phoenix area, then you can just click on Phoenix, and you can use this area as a filter. And then you can go all the way down to, to where there aren't any more. And, Dallas-Fort Worth, there's only 4 people. So searching for people at companies to see who you might be connected to, and by the way, you may be connected to someone who used to work at that company, which can be very helpful to you as well. So very, very, powerful tool. So let's take it a step further, and if you click on Advanced under People, you'll get a different screen that comes up, and here you have many options. So let's put American Express Financial Services in, and you want them to be currently working there. Maybe you want them in a specific area. So over here in this section, you would put in the zip code. And let's just say for a minute you don't know the zip code. You can click on Lookup, and maybe it's St. Louis that you're interested in. Now you have one of the zip codes for St. Louis. You can go back to this, put in the zip code. You can say, within 50, 75, or 100 miles of St. Louis, you're looking for someone that works in human services or human resources at American Express within 50 miles of St. Louis. You click on Search, and there's nobody there. So for the sake of expediency, we'll try Boston. Nothing, which means I'm doing something wrong. Be patient with me, I'm new at this. All right, let's move the human resources over to keywords, get rid of it here, and try it again. Nope. Oh, I had financial services spelled wrong. Okay, so spelling is important, obviously. If you don't spell it correctly, then it's not going to find it. good lesson, I guess. So here are all of the people who work for American Express in the Boston area that have human resources or something, those two words, in their job description. Okay? So let's stop here for a second because I want to make sure that everybody understands how this works, because this is an important part of this. And we can run another example if you want. If you have an interest in a particular part of the country and you're looking for someone maybe in a particular company, we can do that as an example if you would like. So any questions on this? I take it from the silence you're all okay. Or you're bored to death. So I'm going to mute your microphones again. And we talked about people, and now we're going to talk about companies. So one of the challenges that you have is you have a sense of the type of job that you want, but you're not exactly sure, where there may be companies what types of companies are in that area that you want to move to. So here you can search for companies based on different criteria: industry, location. I'm actually looking for a specific. So let's think about a construction. And then the next word we might say is Dallas, Texas. So, well, nothing in Dallas. So here is, well, we know that I had this problem the last time I did this, of having difficulty trying to find a company. So we may have to do this piece another time. Okay, so if you were looking for construction companies in Dallas, Texas, all you need to do is put it in. And the reason I wanted to get past this is because of what you see down here, which allows you, once you get to this screen, it allows you to take your search to different levels of granularity. In other words, you can filter it to companies that you have a second level connection with. You can filter it to company size. If you only want to work for a small company, you can click on that. And here is if you only want to work for companies that are in the Fortune 50 to Fortune 1000, you can click on those. So it allows you to take it to another level of granularity. And what's interesting is that I picked construction, Dallas, Texas, at random. And to show you how you don't have to have a big network, I think in my network there's about 900 people, and probably 380 of them are in MC4. But notice how many people I have a connection at every single one of these companies. which is really the best example of how you can use LinkedIn to network. Now, all of these are second level connections, and the reason that I know that is because it's telling me that over here. I don't have any first level connections. So I'm not connected directly to anybody that works for these companies, but someone in my network is connected to them. And it would be, you know, a variety of different people at that company. And again, you can see it, Jason, this guy. And what I would do is contact this person, ask him to introduce me to Nicholas Turner, maybe give him my resume, maybe put in a recommendation that Nicholas talked to me, and hopefully their relationship is such that Nicholas will say, sure, I'll talk to him. So what I'm going to do now is unmute your microphones, because we've covered most of the major topics that I wanted to cover, and I want us to have a chance to talk. So your microphones are all unmuted except for one, and I don't know why it won't let me unmute. So why don't you start, if you've got questions, go ahead and ask. Don't be shy.
Go over BoxNet. How do you install that?
Ah, good. So BoxNet, you can get to BoxNet by going up to the top of the screen to More, and you can highlight More, and in your case come down to Get Applications, and all of these applications are available to add to your profile for free. They don't cost you anything. It might generate some junk mail, but you can opt out of it if you want. The only one, and I tried Google Presentation, but I didn't like it because the presentations I use and the speeches I give are my intellectual property and value, so I took that down. But all you have to do is click on BoxNet, and it'll ask you a couple questions, and then you'll be able to add files to your profile. Does that help you? Did that help? Are there any other questions? Hi.
Just a general question. You said you're a paid subscriber to LinkedIn. Could you kind of tell us what the benefits are and if that's something you recommend?
Did I what, Phil?
That you're a paid subscriber?
Yeah.
Does that get you, what does that get you, and is that important to us?
Obviously one of the benefits is I get to see who is looking at my profile. And if it's someone that might be of interest to me, I can either reach out to them to add them to my network, or if it's a recruiter or someone at a very senior level in a company, I can reach out and see if they want to talk. The other thing that it gives me is the ability to send a certain number of direct messages to people who are not in my network. Generally with LinkedIn, you can only send messages to people that are in your network, but with a paid subscription, you're able to send what are called in-mails to people that are not part of your network. So I can't remember what the paid subscription costs. I don't use InMail that much, but when I do use it, I think I get a pretty good response. Probably about 70 to 80% of the people that I write to respond to me. So it's something that you might want to try, and if you find that it's useful, great. If you find that it's not useful, then you can just cancel your subscription. It's, by the way, the same thing with any of the recruiting websites like Ops Ladder in those. You know, there's a whole discussion that always takes place over how valuable is it to pay for a subscription on an employment website versus, you know, doing it, you know, the other way. Is that okay, Phil?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks a lot.
You know, it's up to the individual and whether or not they're actually going to use what it gets. And you know, in my case, I think it's been helpful. I actually use it more for stuff within MC4 if I'm trying to get a connection at a company for somebody. The in-mail for me has proven to be very valuable. Anthony, any questions?
The only thing, Bob, at the very beginning you mentioned we'd be able to view this at a later date somehow.
Yes.
How do we get to where that's going to be posted? And are there archived ones also for us to view?
This is the third one. The first one that we did, the video came out great. The audio was not recorded for a technical reason. The one from last night and this one will get posted probably on YouTube because it's easy to do it, and then I'll post links onto the MC4 board.
Okay.
And by the way, anybody can join these seminars that we have. We can hold up to 100 people. So, you know, if in the future there's one coming up and you want to share the link with some of your coworkers or friends, more than happy to let them join, you know, the seminar.
Okay. Very helpful.
So once this is done, it has to go through a conversion process automatically, and then I'll get it posted. Probably, I'll try to do this one tonight, and then the other one is a lot longer. It might take a couple more days to get that one up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just look forward to come out on the discussion for LinkedIn that you send.
Okay. Lisa, you doing okay? Phil?
All good here, Bob. Thanks.
Tony?
Good. We're moving right ahead. It looks good. Everything is easy to understand.
Okay. Brian, I know that you don't have a microphone, but you can send a text message from your screen and I can read it if you have a question. So, I don't know how to tell. All right. Well, I've covered the topics that I wanted to cover. Over the course of the next, several days, if you've got other questions, if something comes up that maybe wasn't clear, just send me an email or send me a message via LinkedIn, and I'll get a hold of you and try to clarify it. Okay? All right, so since there's no other questions, thanks for coming, and I'll get the video posted, and probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks we'll run two other seminars on different topics. If there are specific topics that you would like to have as a webinar, please post a message on the board and we'll see it and we'll work on being able to bring that to you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks again for joining us, and we will talk again.